Hi, welcome back to Daily Stoic Quotes. Stop scrolling for just a second and picture this. A river flowing effortlessly through a valley, its waters gliding around rocks. Never fighting, never forcing, just finding its path. It's quiet, steady, unstoppable. Now, hold that image in your mind and ask yourself, how often do you fight life's currents with your words? How many times have you spoken too quickly, too loudly, too recklessly, pushing against reality only to feel drained, unheard, or stuck? If that sounds familiar, then you're in the right place. Today, we're diving deep into a Stoic secret that could change everything. Not just how you speak, but how you live. It's not about being the loudest voice in the room or dazzling with fancy phrases. It's about speaking wiser, not louder, using words with purpose, precision, and power. The Stoics, those ancient masters of wisdom, knew that words aren't just noise. They're a force, a tool to shape your world. And in this video, we're unlocking their timeless lessons to transform your speech for 2025 and beyond. So, grab a seat, take a breath, and let's start this journey together. Because the way you speak could be the key to the life you want. Let's get real. Words are more than mere sounds slipping from your lips. They're not just air vibrating through space. They're a force, a power that shapes how you see the world and how the world sees you. Think about it. A single sentence can lift someone's spirit, forge a friendship, or spark a movement. But flip the coin, and a careless word can shatter trust, ignite a feud, or leave scars that linger for years. The Stoics got this. They understood that speech isn't trivial. It's a double-edged sword. In the wrong hands, it's a weapon of chaos and deception. In the right hands, it's an instrument of clarity and enlightenment. Words don't just float away. They ripple outward, influencing minds, steering actions, and revealing who you really are. Take a real-life example. Martin Luther King Jr. stood on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial in 1963 and spoke, "I have a dream." Those 4 words didn't just echo through the crowd. They carved a path through history, rallying millions toward justice without a single shout or threat. That's the Stoic ideal in action, words as a force for truth, not force itself. Now contrast that with a moment from everyday life. You're in a heated argument, and a sharp, impulsive "you're wrong" slips out. Suddenly, the room tenses, walls go up, and what could have been a discussion turns into a standoff. One well-timed phrase can change a conversation's course. One reckless outburst can set it ablaze. The Stoics saw this dynamic centuries ago. Speech isn't neutral. It builds or destroys, unites or divides, heals or wounds. And here's where it gets personal. Your words don't just affect others. They shape you. Ever notice how a day of complaining leaves you feeling heavy, while a day of thoughtful conversation lifts you up? The Stoics believed words are a mirror of your mind. Cluttered speech betrays a cluttered soul, while deliberate words signal a disciplined one. They didn't see speech as a casual toss of sounds, but as a craft, a responsibility. Epictetus, one of their sharpest minds, hinted at this when he said we're given 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. Listening trumps talking every time. So, before we move deeper, let this sink in. Your words aren't just tools. They're extensions of your character, your wisdom, your power. And if you wield them wrong, you're not just misfiring. You're missing a chance to live better. So, how did the Stoics tackle this? They didn't chase eloquence for its own sake. Forget silver-tongued speeches or poetic flair meant to dazzle. No, their aim was higher: truth, virtue, purpose. For them, speaking wasn't about winning applause. It was about aligning your words with what's real, what's good, what matters. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor who traded battlefields for philosophy, nailed it with this thunderbolt. What stands in the way becomes the way. Think about that. Your words aren't meant to bulldoze obstacles. They're meant to turn them into paths forward. A disagreement, a chance to clarify, a criticism, an opening to grow. The Stoics saw speech as a way to navigate life's chaos, not wrestle it into submission. This isn't fluffy idealism. It's battle-tested wisdom. Take Nelson Mandela, locked away for 27 years in a cell that could have broken anyone. He didn't waste words on bitterness or rage. Instead, he spoke sparingly, deliberately, first in court, then to his captors, later to a nation. When he said, "It is an ideal for which I am prepared to die," during his trial, those weren't just words. They were a Stoic stand, rooted in truth, unshaken by fate. He didn't scream for freedom. He spoke it into being with calm, purposeful clarity. That's the Stoic approach: say less, mean more. It's not about filling silence with noise, but crafting words that cut through it like a blade. And here's the kicker. Silence isn't weakness for the Stoics. It's strength. Imagine a room buzzing with chatter, everyone clamoring to be heard. The Stoic sits quiet, observing, weighing. When they finally speak, heads turn. Not because they shouted, but because their words carry weight. It's like the sun. It doesn't demand attention. It just shines, and you feel it. Modern life tempts us to talk endlessly. Social media, arguments, idle chatter. But the Stoics offer a radical shift. Speak only when your words outshine silence. Less volume, more value. Less ego, more essence. That's the roadmap we're laying out today. A way to speak that doesn't just get you heard, but gets you understood, respected, remembered. Here's where you come in. This isn't just a video. It's your Stoic roadmap to transform how you speak in 2025. We're not stopping at theory. We're handing you 10 practical habits to master wiser speech. Habits backed by stories from legends like Mandela, Martin Luther King, and more. You'll learn to listen twice as much as you talk, cut the noise, and wield words with precision and purpose. This is your chance to ditch the frustration of being misunderstood and step into a year where your voice carries real power. Not through force, but through wisdom. So, stick with us. Hit that like button if you're ready to rethink how you speak. Subscribe to join our Stoic tribe here at Daily Stoic Quotes. We're dropping wisdom like this every week to keep you sharp. And drop a comment below. What's one thing you're tired of forcing with your words? Maybe it's arguing to win, venting without thinking, or filling silence just to feel heard. Let's hear it. Your voice matters in this community. Together, we're not just talking about Stoicism, we're living it. 2025's waiting, and your wiser voice starts here. Let's flow into it right now. Below is the detailed implementation of Section 1, the Stoic Foundation. Why speech matters in Section 2, 10 Stoic habits to speak wiser, up to habit 5 for now, with the rest to follow if needed, along with an initial portion of Section 3, practical tools to apply Stoic speech. Each section is broken into paragraphs aligned with the outline, enriched with educational elements, real-life examples from notable figures, and Stoic-appropriate language. The content is designed to be cohesive, flowing naturally between sections, and tailored for your Daily Stoic Quotes YouTube channel. The Stoic Foundation. Why speech matters. 1. Speech reflects the mind. The Stoics saw speech as more than a tool for communication. It's a mirror reflecting the state of your mind. A cluttered, chaotic soul spills out words that ramble, contradict, and confuse, while a disciplined mind crafts speech with clarity and intent. Think of your words as ripples on a still pond. If the water's calm, the reflection is sharp. If it's turbulent, the image distorts. Epictetus, a Stoic luminary born into slavery yet freed by his wisdom, put it bluntly, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we can listen twice as much as we speak." This isn't just a quip. It's a profound truth. When you speak without restraint, you betray a lack of inner order. When you listen and choose your words, you reveal a soul aligned with reason. Consider Abraham Lincoln, a man whose life echoed this principle. During the Civil War, his cabinet meetings were tense, advisors shouting, vying for control. Lincoln often sat silent, absorbing every argument, every emotion. His mind, disciplined by years of self-education, filtered the noise. When he finally spoke, as he did in the Gettysburg Address, 272 words delivered in under 3 minutes, it wasn't volume that won the day, but clarity. Government of the people, by the people, for the people didn't need embellishment. It reflected a mind honed to its essence. The Stoics would nod approvingly. Speech like this doesn't just communicate. It commands respect because it mirrors a steady soul. This matters because your words don't just pass through the air. They linger in the minds of those who hear them. A frantic outburst in a meeting might get attention, but it's the measured response that sticks. The Stoics taught that wisdom begins within. Tame your thoughts, and your tongue will follow. Look at modern chaos. Endless social media rants, knee-jerk replies. It's noise from unsettled minds. Now imagine Lincoln scrolling Twitter. He'd pause, reflect, and type only what carried weight. That's the Stoic gift. Speech that reflects not just what you think, but who you are. Words shape reality. Words don't merely describe reality, they sculpt it. The Stoics understood that speech isn't passive. It builds trust, steers actions, and sways hearts. A single honest sentence can forge a bond stronger than steel, while a small lie can unravel years of credibility. Picture a friend confiding in you. A sincere, "I'm here for you," can lift them from despair, but a flippant "you'll be fine" might push them away. This is no trivial power. Your words are architects of the world around you, crafting bridges or burning them down. Take Martin Luther King Jr.'s "I Have a Dream" speech in 1963. Facing a nation fractured by hate, he didn't shout threats or beg for change. His words, calm, vivid, rooted in truth, painted a vision so clear it pulled millions into its orbit. Let us not seek to satisfy our thirst for freedom by drinking from the cup of bitterness and hatred. Wasn't just rhetoric. It shaped a movement, turning anger into hope. The Stoics would see this as speech at its peak, not manipulating emotions, but guiding reality toward virtue. MLK's words didn't just echo. They built a new America, brick by brick. Contrast that with a lie's wreckage. Richard Nixon's "I am not a crook" in 1973 aimed to reassure. But as Watergate unfolded, those words crumbled his presidency. A single dishonest phrase, once exposed, eroded trust that no apology could rebuild. The Stoics knew this. Words aren't fleeting, they're seeds. Plant truth, and you harvest influence. Plant deceit, and you reap ruin. Every day you face this choice. Your "I'll get it done" at work either strengthens your reputation or, if hollow, chips it away. Speech isn't just talk. It's the chisel carving your life's monument. 3. The responsibility of speech. For the Stoics, speech wasn't a casual act. It was a solemn duty. Every word you utter is an arrow loosed from a bow. Once released, it can't be recalled, and its impact is yours to bear. They didn't see talking as a game to win or a stage to dazzle. It was a craft to refine, a responsibility to wield with care. Marcus Aurelius, ruling an empire amid war and plague, wrote in his Meditations, "Be brief and articulate." To him, words weren't for show. They were for truth, for guiding others toward reason, for cutting through life's chaos with purpose. Look at Nelson Mandela's trial in 1964. Facing a death sentence, he didn't rant or plead. His 4-hour speech ended with, "It is an ideal for which I am prepared to die." Those words weren't flung in desperation. They were deliberate, forged in a cell's silence, aimed at a nation's conscience. The Stoics would admire this. Speech as a duty, not a reflex. Mandela didn't seek to impress the court. He sought to express a truth so unshakable it outlasted his chains. shaping South Africa's future. His arrows hit their mark, not by force but by intent. This responsibility weighs on us all. A careless "you're useless" to a colleague can wound deeper than you intend, while a thoughtful "let's figure this out" can mend a rift. The Stoics urged vigilance. Speak to enlighten, not to eclipse. In today's world, where words fly unchecked, gossip, rants, empty promises, it's easy to forget their permanence. But they're not smoke dissipating. They're stone, etching your legacy. To speak wisely isn't about dazzling. It's about honoring the power you hold, using it to reflect virtue, not vanity. For transition. So we've laid the groundwork. Your words reflect your mind, shape your reality, and carry a weighty duty. The Stoics didn't stop at theory. They lived these truths, turning speech into a disciplined art. Now, let's build on this foundation with 10 Stoic habits to speak wiser. Practical steps to transform how you talk, backed by real-life stories from legends who embodied these lessons. From Lincoln's silence to Mandela's resolve, we'll see how these giants flowed with wisdom, not force. Stick with daily Stoic quotes as we dive in, because mastering your speech isn't just about sounding smart. It's about living truer. Let's move forward together. 2.10 Stoic habits to speak wiser. Habit 1. Speak less, listen more. The Stoics placed restraint at the heart of wise speech, believing that speaking less opens the door to deeper understanding. Words, when overused, become noise, distracting from truth, diluting their power. Epictetus drove this home with his timeless insight. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we can listen twice as much as we speak. This isn't a call to mute yourself. It's an invitation to prioritize listening, to let silence be your teacher. For the Stoics, every unnecessary word is a missed chance to learn, a step away from wisdom. Silence isn't empty. It's a space where clarity is born, where you absorb before you act. Imagine a debate where everyone's shouting, each voice louder, each point lost in the clamor. The Stoic stands apart, ears open, mind steady. When they speak, it's not to drown out the chaos but to cut through it. This restraint isn't weakness. It's discipline, a recognition that wisdom doesn't need volume to resonate. Think of a sculptor chiseling stone. Every strike matters. Every excess removed reveals the form beneath. Speech works the same way. Trim the fat and what remains carries weight. The Stoics knew that listening isn't passive. It's active, a skill that sharpens your words by grounding them in what's real. This habit fights our modern urge to fill every gap with sound. Social media thrives on chatter, endless posts, quick retorts, but how much of it sticks? The Stoics would see this as a trap. Talking for the sake of being heard, not understood. True influence, they'd argue, comes from restraint. Letting others speak, observing their intent, then responding with purpose. It's not about saying nothing. It's about saying what matters. A quiet mind hears more, sees more, and when it speaks, the world listens. Real-life example, Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln lived this habit like a Stoic in disguise. Known for his lanky frame and humble roots, he wasn't the loudest in any room. Yet his words reshaped a nation. During the Civil War, his advisors often clashed, each pushing their own plans. Lincoln didn't dominate these meetings with speeches. He listened, sometimes for hours, his silence a sponge soaking up every angle. Historian Doris Kearns Goodwin notes in Team of Rivals that he'd sit, pen in hand, jotting thoughts, letting others exhaust their arguments before weighing in. This paid off in moments like the Gettysburg Address. Delivered on November 19, 1863, it clocked in at just 272 words, 2 minutes of speech after a 2-hour oration by another speaker. Critics expected bombast. Lincoln gave precision. For 7 years ago, didn't shout. It whispered. yet its echo still rings today. His silence beforehand wasn't idleness. It was preparation, a stoic filtering of noise into essence. By listening to his generals, his people, even his critics, he spoke not to impress but to unite, his words landing like a hammer on history's anvil. Lincoln's restraint built trust. Soldiers, citizens, even rivals respected him because he didn't waste breath. When he did speak, as in his second inaugural address, with malice toward none, with charity for all, it carried the weight of a man who'd heard every side. The Stoics would see this as mastery. Listening twice as much gave his speech twice the power, proving that less can indeed be more. Here's how you bring this habit home. Speak less, listen more isn't just a slogan. It's a daily practice. Start with a simple challenge. For one day, count to 3 silently before responding in any conversation. Whether it's a work call or a family chat, let those seconds stretch. Hear the words, feel the tone, grasp the intent. You'll catch nuances you'd miss if you jumped in, and your reply will hit harder because it's rooted in understanding. Try this at a meeting. Instead of leaping to share your idea, let others go first. Jot down what they say, not to rebut, but to comprehend. When it's your turn, you'll speak with insight, not impulse. The Stoics would call this active silence, listening as a forge for wiser words. Over time, people notice. Your quiet isn't disinterest. It's strength, making your voice a rare, valued signal amid the noise. The benefit, influence without force. A friend vents about a tough day. You pause, listen fully, then say, "That sounds rough. What's weighing most on you?" Instead of a quick, "You'll get over it." They'll feel heard, and your words will stick. Epictetus would approve. Less chatter, more clarity. Start small, 3 seconds today, and watch how your speech gains gravity, turning fleeting talk into lasting impact. Habit 2. Reflect your character. Your speech isn't just a string of sounds. It's a window into your soul. The Stoics held that words reveal your character as surely as actions do. A scattered mind spills scattered phrases, while a disciplined one crafts speech with purpose. Marcus Aurelius, emperor and philosopher, urged brevity and clarity. Be brief and articulate. To him, every word was a brushstroke painting your inner self. Excessive talk signaled chaos, while measured speech showed a mind at peace with itself. This isn't about sounding polished. It's about being true. Words lacking purpose, like gossip or boasts, erode your credibility, suggesting a soul adrift. But when your speech aligns with virtue, honesty, courage, reason, it builds trust, brick by brick. Think of a lake. When it's still, you see the depths. When it's choppy, only waves. The Stoics sought that stillness, knowing that a chaotic tongue betrays a restless spirit, while a steady voice reflects a grounded one. In our noisy world, this habit stands out. Endless debates, brash opinions, hollow promises. They're the chatter of unmoored minds. The Stoic counters with intent. Every sentence a deliberate step, not a stumble. It's not about impressing others with eloquence. It's about expressing what's real within you. When your words mirror your values, they don't just pass through, they plant roots, shaping how others see you and how you see yourself. Real-life example, Maya Angelou. Maya Angelou embodied this Stoic truth with every syllable she spoke. Born into poverty and trauma, abused as a child, mute for years, she could have let bitterness define her voice. Instead, she forged words that reflected resilience and grace. Her book, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, isn't a rant against fate. It's a testament to a soul that turned pain into wisdom. When she read, "Still I Rise" at readings, lines like, I rise, I rise, I rise weren't loud. They were deep, echoing a character unbroken by hardship. Angelou didn't chase applause. She sought truth. In interviews like her 1993 chat with Oprah, she spoke slowly, deliberately, each word a reflection of her strength. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still, like dust, I'll rise wasn't bravado. It was her essence distilled. The Stoics would see Marcus's ideal here: brief, articulate, authentic. Her speech didn't mask her struggles. It revealed her triumph over them, earning her a reverence that no shouting could buy. Her life proves the point. Character shines through words. When she recited On the Pulse of Morning at Clinton's 1993 inauguration, millions leaned in, not because she dazzled, but because she reflected a soul forged in fire. Her voice, steady and clear, mirrored a mind that had wrestled chaos into calm, making her a beacon of Stoic virtue in a modern age. Make this habit yours. Before you speak, pause and ask, does this reflect my values? It's a Stoic filter: truth, kindness, purpose. Next time you're tempted to snap in frustration, say at a slow coworker, stop. Instead of, can't you hurry up? Try, how can I help us move faster? The first shows irritation. The second shows patience, aligning your words with who you want to be. Test it daily. In a heated family talk, don't vent, reflect. If honesty's your North Star, say, I'm upset, but let's sort this out. Not you always ruin everything. It's harder, but it builds a bridge, not a wall. Angelou did this. She spoke pain without poison, and it stuck. Over a week, track your words. Jot down one moment you spoke true to your character. Maybe it's thanking a stranger instead of rushing by. The payoff? Consistency breeds trust. Your speech becomes a steady light, not a flickering flame. This takes practice, but the Stoics knew effort shapes virtue. Start small, one mindful sentence a day. Soon, your words won't just sound wise. They'll feel wise, reflecting a character you're proud to claim. Habit 3, master persuasion with truth. Persuasion, for the Stoics, wasn't about winning. It was about guiding others to truth. Seneca, the Stoic sage, wrote, honest speech carries more weight than clever speech. Forget slick tricks or emotional ploys. Stoic persuasion rests on reason, sincerity, and virtue. It's not manipulation dressed up as charm. It's clarity offered with conviction, letting the listener choose their path. The Stoics didn't force agreement. They illuminated it, trusting truth to stand on its own. This approach flips modern persuasion on its head. Today's world loves loud ads and flashy pitches, but the Stoics saw through that noise. A clever lie might sway a crowd for a moment, but honest words endure. Think of a teacher explaining a tough concept. Shouting facts doesn't teach, reason steps do. Persuasion isn't about overpowering. It's about aligning your speech with what's real, offering a hand, not a hammer. It's slow, patient work. Seeds planted, not battles won. The Stoics knew people resist being pushed. They open to being led. Speak with clarity, back it with logic, and let the truth do the heavy lifting. In a debate, don't aim to crush, aim to clarify. This isn't weakness. It's strength, a quiet confidence that reason outshines rhetoric every time. Real-life example: Martin Luther King Jr. Martin Luther King Jr. mastered this Stoic art. On August 28, 1963, he stood before 250,000 people in Washington, D.C., delivering, "I have a dream." He didn't bully or beg. He persuaded with truth. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. Wasn't a shout. It was a vision, rooted in reason and morality. He spoke to a divided America, yet his calm, honest words pulled opposites together. King's power wasn't in volume. Watch the footage. His tone is steady, almost soft. He leaned on facts, segregation's injustice, equality's logic. He didn't manipulate with fear. he inspired with hope. The Stoics would see Seneca's ideal here, speech that wins trust, not just applause. When he said, "We must not be guilty of wrongful deeds," he didn't demand, he invited, letting truth persuade naturally. That day, he didn't just speak. He shifted a nation's course. His life backs this up. Jailed, threatened, he kept persuading with dignity. In his letter from Birmingham jail, he reasoned with critics. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere, and turned foes into allies. His words didn't force. They flowed, proving that truth, spoken plainly, moves mountains. Bring this home. Next time you're persuading, say, pitching an idea at work, skip the hype. Use logic, not emotion. Instead of, "This will blow everyone away," try, "Here's why this works." It saves time and boosts results. Data backs it up. Let the facts speak. Let the listener decide. King did this. His dream wasn't a sales pitch. It was a reasoned plea. Practice in arguments. Don't yell to win. If a friend disagrees, say, "I see your point. Here's why I think this makes sense." Then explain calmly. The Stoics would call this virtue in action, persuasion without pride. Try it for a day. In every talk, lead with reason, not heat. Maybe it's convincing your kid to tidy up. A clean room helps you focus, right? Works better than "Do it now." The reward? People trust you more when you don't push. They'll follow because you've shown the path, not dragged them down it. Habit 4. Avoid idle talk. Idle talk, gossip, complaints, empty chatter was anathema to the Stoics. Epictetus warned, avoid meaningless things. Words without purpose don't just waste time. They weaken your mind and your standing. Every pointless rant or rumor you spread is a crack in your wisdom, a drift from virtue. The Stoics saw speech as a sacred tool. Why squander it on trivia when it could build understanding? Idle talk is noise. Wise speech is signal. Picture a coffee break. Coworkers gossip about a boss's quirks. It's tempting to join, but what's gained? A laugh, maybe, but at the cost of depth. The Stoics would turn away, not out of disdain, but focus. They'd rather discuss ideas, challenges, solutions. This isn't snobbery. It's discipline, a refusal to let words wander aimlessly. In a world drowning in small talk, avoiding it sets you apart. Your speech becomes a beacon, not background hum. This habit demands vigilance. Gossip lures with easy connection, complaints vent frustration, but both erode your clarity. The Stoics knew that a tongue running wild reflects a soul off course. Cut the fluff, and your words gain potency. Every sentence a step toward truth, not a stumble into irrelevance. Real-life example, Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela lived this habit through decades of trial. In Robben Island's brutal cells, where lesser men might have griped or cursed, Mandela spoke sparingly. His prison letters, like those to Winnie, focused on hope, strategy, love, never petty grumbling. At his 1964 Rivonia trial, facing execution, he didn't waste breath on the trivial. "I have fought against white domination, and I have fought against black domination" was no idle plea. It was a creed, concise and eternal. Mandela's guards noted his silence. Days passed with minimal talk, yet when he spoke, it pierced. After 27 years, freed in 1990, he didn't rant about lost time. He said, "Let there be justice for all." The Stoics would see Epictetus here. No meaningless chatter, just purpose. His words rallied a nation not by volume, but by their rarity and weight. Proof that avoiding idle talk amplifies your voice. Even in negotiations, like ending apartheid, he shunned fluff. His biographer Anthony Sampson recalls him redirecting tangents to core issues. Peace, unity. This focus turned a prisoner into a president, showing that speech stripped of waste can topple empires. Practical application. Here's your move. Dodge idle talk by steering conversations upward. Next time gossip starts, say, friends dissecting a celebrity scandal. Don't bite. Ask, what's something worth talking about today? Subtle, stoic, shifting from noise to meaning. At work, skip the water cooler whining. Suggest, how do we fix this instead? You'll stand out as the one who cuts through. Try this. For a day, exit every pointless chat. If it's just noise, no growth, no truth, bow out politely. Mandela did this in prison, saving his words for impact. The challenge is real, small talks everywhere, but the payoff's bigger, respect. People notice when you don't babble. Your silence signals depth, and your speech, when it comes, hits home. Less clutter, more clarity, that's the Stoic way. Habit 5. Control emotions in speech. Emotions can hijack your tongue, but the Stoics demanded mastery over them. Seneca, advisor to emperors, wrote, "The greatest remedy for anger is delay. A hasty word in rage or fear can wound forever. A calm one, even in chaos, heals." This isn't about suppressing feelings. It's about channeling them so your speech serves reason, not reaction. The Stoics saw an unchecked tongue as a slave to passion, a controlled one as a servant of wisdom. Think of a fight. You're furious. Words like, "You're impossible," leap out. The damage is instant, the regret slow. Now picture pausing, breathing, reasoning, then saying, "Let's work this out." The first fuels fire, the second douses it. Seneca's delay isn't cowardice. It's power, a shield against folly. In a world of hot takes and shouting matches, this habit is gold. Speak from stillness, and your influence grows. This takes grit, emotions surge, begging release. But the Stoics knew that words from a steady mind outlast those from a stormy one. It's not about being cold. It's about being clear. When you master this, your speech doesn't just react, it directs, turning chaos into order. Real-life example, Dalai Lama. The Dalai Lama lives the Stoic calm. Exiled from Tibet in 1959, facing China's might, he could have lashed out. Instead, his speeches, like his 1989 Nobel Peace Prize address, radiate peace. We must try to develop a sense of universal responsibility. Wasn't barked in anger. It was offered in quiet strength. Even under threat, his voice stays soft, deliberate, emotions present, but harnessed. Watch him in debates with scholars. Provoked, he smiles, pauses, then responds, "Perhaps we see this differently, but let's explore why." Biographer Pico Iyer notes his knack for defusing tension with calm words, turning foes into listeners. The Stoics would see Seneca's remedy here: delay, reflect, speak. In 2011, facing questions on Tibet's future, he didn't snap. He said, "Peace is the only way," disarming critics with serenity. His life's a lesson. Emotional control doesn't mute you. It amplifies you. Decades of exile, yet his words inspire millions, not by force, but by their tranquil power. That's Stoic speech. Steady amid the storm. Practical application. Here's how. When anger flares, say a rude driver cuts you off. Don't curse. Take 5 deep breaths. Then decide. Is a honk worth it? Probably not. Try they're in a rush. Let it go. Seneca's delay works. 5 breaths cool the heat, letting reason steer. Test it in a spat. Instead of "you're wrong," breathe, then say, "I disagree, here's why." It's harder, but it wins respect. Daily drill. When emotions spike, pause, 5 seconds, 5 breaths. The Dalai Lama does this, you can too. At work, a boss snaps. Don't snap back. Breathe. Then I'll fix it. The benefit? Conflicts shrink, your words grow. People lean in when you don't explode. Your calm becomes your strength. turning outbursts into opportunities. 3. Practical tools to apply Stoic speech. Tool 1. Daily reflection. Mastering Stoic speech doesn't begin with the tongue. It starts within, in the silent chambers of your mind. Daily reflection is your chisel, a tool to carve away the excess and refine the raw material of your thoughts into words of wisdom. The Stoics understood that speech, like any craft, demands deliberate practice, and the first step is turning inward. Every night, as the world quiets, take up a notebook and pose two simple yet piercing questions. What did I say today that was wasteful? And where could my words have been wiser? This isn't about self-reproach or dwelling on flaws. It's self-craft, a disciplined Stoic habit to sharpen your tongue into an instrument of virtue rather than a blunt tool of impulse. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, wielded this tool with mastery. Amid the chaos of ruling Rome, wars on the borders, plague in the streets, he sat by lamplight, scribbling in what we now call meditations. His words, like "you have power over your mind," not outside events, weren't penned for posterity or praise. They were a mirror, a means to align his inner world with the Stoic ideals of reason, clarity, and resilience. Each entry was a reckoning, not with the empire but with himself. Did his speech that day reflect patience when senators bickered? Did it carry purpose when he addressed his legions? His journal wasn't a bid for fame. It was a forge, tempering his soul so his words could cut through life's noise with precision. For Marcus, reflection wasn't passive. It was active, a nightly ritual to ensure his voice matched his values. This practice isn't reserved for emperors. It's yours to claim. Try it. After a day's end, sit with your thoughts and recall a moment of speech. Perhaps you rambled in a meeting, words spilling over each other like a river breaching its banks. Write it down. I spoke too long about the project timeline. Next time, I'll sum it up in 2 sentences. Or maybe you passed up a chance to lift someone, a colleague struggled and you stayed silent. Note it. I should have thanked her for her effort. I'll do it tomorrow. Simple yet potent. A single line can shift your awareness. The act of writing pins your thoughts to the page, making them real, measurable, malleable. It's not about perfection. It's about progress, a Stoic step towards speech that serves rather than squanders. Nelson Mandela offers another testament to this tool's power. Locked in Robben Island's grim cells for 27 years, he had no empire to rule, only his spirit. Yet he reflected, penning letters to his wife Winnie or comrades, distilling his resolve into words that carried weight beyond prison walls. Phrases like, "we will prevail," or "the struggle is my life," weren't spontaneous outbursts. They were honed through quiet nights of introspection. Biographers note he'd sit, stone-faced, scribbling by faint light, asking himself how his words could inspire, not inflame. Each letter was a mirror, reflecting a man who refused to let captivity dull his purpose. His speech, when it came, whether in court or at his release, struck like tempered steel, proof that reflection turns raw intent into refined impact. This tool builds something rare, awareness. Without it, your words drift. Gossip slips out, complaints fester, hasty retorts sting. But with reflection, you spot the slips before they harden into habits. Take a common day. You snap at a slow cashier. Can't you move faster? Later in your notebook you write, "That was sharp and useless." Tomorrow I'll say, "Take your time, I'll wait." The next day you do it. Tension eases, your voice steadies. Over a week, patterns emerge. Too much venting here, not enough gratitude there. Less fluff creeps in, "great job" replaces, "yeah, whatever," and more substance takes root. Your speech begins to echo the growth Marcus and Mandela forged. Not loud, but deep. Not scattered, but deliberate. Let's widen the lens with another example. Oprah Winfrey, a modern voice shaped by reflection. Before her iconic interviews, she'd journal, asking what words would connect, not just captivate. In a 2013 Harvard commencement speech, she said, "Turn your wounds into wisdom." That line didn't tumble out. It was crafted through years of nightly notes, sifting through her own struggles to find truths worth sharing. Her biographer Kitty Kelly recounts how Oprah would review her day's conversations, noting where she'd overspoken or missed a chance to listen. This habit, stoic in spirit, made her questions pierce and her responses resonate, turning a talk show into a classroom. Reflection wasn't a luxury for her. It was a discipline, aligning her speech with authenticity. Now, make it practical. Set aside 10 minutes each night, no phone, no noise, just you and the page. Start small. One moment of speech to dissect. Maybe you bragged about a win at work. "I dominated that presentation, and it felt hollow." Right? Next time I'll say, "The team pulled it off." Or you dodged a tough talk with a friend. "I avoided the issue." Tomorrow, I'll ask, "What's really going on?" Don't judge. Just observe, plan, adjust. The Stoics didn't berate themselves. They built themselves, brick by reason brick. If a day's too hectic, reflect on one exchange. "I interrupted him. I'll wait next time." It's a seed. Plant it and watch it grow. This isn't a chore, it's a gift. Imagine a week of this. Monday, you catch a pointless rant. Tuesday, you trim it. By Friday, your words feel lighter, sharper. Marcus Aurelius didn't conquer Rome with meditations. He conquered himself, and his speech followed. Mandela didn't free a nation with letters alone. He freed his mind first, letting his words carry liberation. Oprah didn't inspire millions by accident. Her reflection made every syllable count. This tool does the same for you. It's a mirror to see your flaws, a map to mend them, a forge to shape your voice. The payoff unfolds over time. A month in, your notebook fills. Less complaining, more questions becomes your rhythm. Colleagues notice. You've been quieter lately, thoughtful though. Friends lean in, your "I hear you" outweighs their chatter. Your speech shifts, not because you've silenced yourself, but because you've sifted yourself. The Stoics called this apatheia, not apathy, but freedom from passion's pull, letting reason steer. Wasteful words fade. Wise ones rise. You're not just talking, you're crafting. A sculptor of sound whose every stroke reveals virtue. So wield this chisel tonight. Ask, what did I say that I could have skipped? Where did I miss wisdom's mark? Write it, mean it, act on it. Marcus reflected to rule justly. Mandela to resist nobly. Oprah to connect truly. You, to speak wisely, not for applause, but for the quiet strength of a life well spoken. This is Stoic Daily Reflection. Simple, stark, transformative. Over weeks, months, years, your speech won't just echo. It'll endure, a testament to a mind that dared to look within. Here we are, at the end of this journey with daily Stoic quotes, and what a path we've walked together. Let's pause and gather the wisdom we've uncovered. 10 Stoic habits and 3 practical tools to transform your speech into a force of clarity and virtue. These aren't just tips. They're a roadmap to speak wiser, rooted in the timeless insights of Epictetus, Seneca, and Marcus Aurelius, brought to life by legends who lived these truths. So, let's recap what we've built, brick by brick, to carry into 2025. First, we learned to speak less, listen more. A habit Abraham Lincoln mastered, letting silence sharpen his words into history's chisel. Then, we saw how speech reflects your character, with Maya Angelou turning pain into poetry that mirrored her unbreakable spirit. We explored mastering persuasion with truth, as Martin Luther King Jr. did, guiding a nation not with force but with reason's steady hand. Next came avoiding idle talk, a lesson Nelson Mandela lived, shunning gossip for words that toppled oppression. And we embraced controlling emotions in speech, inspired by the Dalai Lama's calm voice, soothing a world in turmoil. The journey continued with speaking with precision, where Steve Jobs showed us that a few sharp words can spark revolutions. We honed asking the right questions, following Oprah Winfrey's lead to unlock deeper truths in every conversation. Then, pausing before speaking, a tactic Barack Obama used to lend his words unshakable weight. We learned to speak with authority, not arrogance, echoing Ruth Bader Ginsburg's quiet power in the courtroom. And finally, we harnessed the power of silence, with Keanu Reeves proving that stillness can amplify a voice beyond noise. Beyond habits, we forged tools. Daily reflection, a mirror Marcus Aurelius held to his soul. The emotional pause, a shield Mandela wielded in negotiation. And the question framework, a lens Oprah sharpened to cut through life's haze. These aren't abstract ideals. They're practices, honed by giants, ready for you to wield. From listening twice as much as you speak to letting silence speak louder than words, the Stoic arsenal turns your tongue from a wild flame into a steady torch. Each habit, each tool, is a thread in a tapestry of wiser speech, woven not to impress, but to express what's true, what's good, what lasts. This isn't about perfection, it's about progress. The Stoics didn't demand flawless oratory. They sought disciplined intent. Every time you choose restraint over rant, clarity over clutter, you step closer to their ideal. You've seen it work. Lincoln's brevity won a war-weary nation. MLK's honesty moved millions. Mandela's focus freed a people. These habits aren't relics. They're alive, pulsing with the power to reshape your conversations, your relationships, your life. So, as we close this chapter, hold these lessons close. Your words are yours to master, and mastery begins with the choice to speak with wisdom. Now, let's lift our eyes to 2025. A year not just to live, but to speak with purpose. Imagine this. A year where your words inspire, not inflame. Where they guide, not dictate. Where every sentence reflects the wisdom you've claimed. Picture yourself in a heated moment, maybe a family clash or a work dispute. Instead of snapping, you pause, breathe, and say something measured, something true. The room shifts, not because you shouted, but because you spoke from a place of calm strength. That's the Stoic voice we're building. Not loud, not flashy, but unshakably wise. This vision isn't a dream, it's a choice. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens." Your speech is in your power, every word, every silence. In 2025, it could be your compass through chaos. A tool to mend rifts, spark insight, and stand firm amid life's storms. Imagine a day where gossip tempts you, but you turn it aside with a question that lifts the talk higher. Or a moment of anger, where you delay, reflect, and respond with grace. That's not weakness. It's mastery. A voice that flows like water around obstacles, carving paths where others see walls. Think of the ripple effect. Your words touch one person, then 10, then 100. A colleague hears your calm reasoning and rethinks their haste. A friend feels your sincerity and opens up. A stranger catches your quiet confidence and pauses to listen. This isn't about fame, it's about influence, the Stoic kind that doesn't demand attention but earns it. In a world of noise, endless scrolls, shouting matches, hollow boasts, your Stoic voice could be the signal that cuts through, a beacon of reason in a sea of reaction. This isn't easy. Modern life pulls us toward chatter and impulse, but the Stoics thrived in harder times. Marcus ruled an empire in plague, Seneca faced exile, Epictetus broke free from chains. They didn't just survive, they shaped their worlds with words that stood the test. You don't need their stage, just their resolve. Picture 2025 as your proving ground. A year where you speak less but say more, where your silence disarms and your speech builds. It's not about changing the world overnight. It's about changing your corner of it, one wise word at a time. So, see it clearly. 2025, a year where your voice reflects not just what you think, but who you are: disciplined, deliberate, virtuous. It's a year to let go of forcing, fighting, flailing with words, and embrace flowing with them instead. The Stoics handed us this gift, the power to turn speech into a craft, not a crutch. Take it, shape it, live it, and watch how a wiser voice doesn't just echo in the moment, but lingers in the lives you touch. Let's ground this vision with one final story. Bruce Lee, a modern Stoic in motion. Known for his fists, he was just as lethal with words, few, sharp, and deep. His famous line, "Be like water," wasn't a throwaway. It was a philosophy distilled into 3 syllables. In Enter the Dragon, 1973, he says, "Don't think, feel. It's like a finger pointing away to the moon. Don't concentrate on the finger, or you'll miss all that heavenly glory." It's brief, but it lands like a punch, clear, purposeful, wise. Lee didn't waste breath. He spoke to awaken. Watch him in interviews like his 1971 chat with Pierre Berton. Asked about fame, he doesn't boast. He says, "I'm a martial artist, not a movie star." His voice is soft, steady, emotions checked, intent clear. The Stoics would see Seneca's honest speech here. No fluff, just truth. Lee's life was chaos. Hollywood pressure, racial barriers. But his words stayed calm, reflecting a mind that flowed around obstacles, not against them. He didn't shout his wisdom. He let it ripple, trusting its strength to carry. Take his teaching moments. Training students, he'd say, "Empty your mind, be formless, shapeless, like water." It's not loud. It's profound. A Stoic echo of Marcus's, "What stands in the way becomes the way." Lee lived this. Rejected by studios, he didn't curse fate. He wrote, fought, spoke his way into legend. His sparse, powerful words in films and life, like, "The key to immortality is first living a life worth remembering," mirrored a character honed by discipline, not drowned by noise. Bruce Lee proves our point. You don't need a torrent of words to shape reality. Like water, he adapted, flowed, struck when needed. His speech a quiet force that still inspires decades later. In 2025, channel that. Let your voice be fluid yet firm, sparse yet strong. Lee didn't force his way, he became it, a lesson the Stoics would salute. Your words can do the same, simple, true, enduring. Here's where you step in. This isn't the end. It's your beginning. Pick one habit today, right now, and make it yours. Maybe it's Lincoln's listening, pausing for 3 seconds to hear fully. Or Mandela's focus, dodging idle talk with a purposeful question. Or Lee's fluidity, letting silence amplify your next word. Choose one, try it, feel it shift you. This isn't theory, it's action, the Stoic way. Small steps, steady gains, lasting change. If this resonates, if these habits spark something in you, hit that like button below. It's not just a click. It's a signal to us at Daily Stoic Quotes that you're with us, that this wisdom matters. Every like fuels this channel, keeping these lessons flowing to you and beyond. And if you haven't yet, subscribe, join our Stoic tribe. We're here every week, dropping insights like this to sharpen your mind, your voice, your life. One click locks you in. Don't miss the next step on this path. Now, let's hear from you. Drop a comment below. What's your chosen habit for 2025? Type it out. I'm pausing before I speak, or I'm cutting the gossip. Share it, own it, your voice counts in this community. Read others' picks, too. Maybe you'll inspire someone or they'll spark you. This isn't a solo journey. It's a collective climb toward wisdom. Imagine thousands of us with daily Stoic quotes, mastering our speech together. What a force that could be. 2025's waiting. It's your year of wise speech, and it starts today. These habits, these tools, these stories, from Lincoln to Lee aren't relics. They're yours to wield. Take Marcus's words to heart. Make the best use of what is in your power. Your voice is that power, don't force it. Flow with it. With daily Stoic quotes, we're not just talking Stoicism, we're living it one word at a time. So, pick your habit, hit like, subscribe, comment. Let's make 2025 a year where your speech doesn't just echo, but endures. The river's moving, flow with us.